All right, today we are diving deep into the new economic blueprint for one of the world's fastest growing economies. This comes straight from a major government address, and we're going to unpack India's really ambitious vision, what holds it all together, and its path to becoming a true global powerhouse.
So right at the heart of this whole strategy is this powerful new addition to an already existing mantra. You see, adding export more signals a huge shift in focus. It's not just about building for India anymore. It's about becoming an absolutely crucial player on the world stage.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break this all down. We'll start with the big picture, the high-level vision. Then we'll look at the big push to manufacture for the world. After that, we'll see how the right kind of infrastructure makes that all possible. And finally, we'll explore the shared effort that's needed to make any of this actually happen.
So what's the end game here? What is the North Star for this entire strategy? Well, it's all about creating a Viksit Bharat, which means a developed India. And look, this isn't just some economic target. It's a foundational ambition to completely transform the nation. Now, this whole vision rests on 4 pillars that are deeply connected. You might look at them and think they're separate, but it's better to think of them like a set of gears. You can't have stronger manufacturing without better logistics, right? And those competitive small businesses, the MSMEs, they need well-planned cities to grow in. They all have to turn together. All right, let's zoom in on that first pillar and see how this actually builds out. The goal is crystal clear: to position India as a key manufacturing partner for, well, the entire world.
You know, the timing on this is just critical. After all the global disruptions we've seen recently, supply chains are literally being redrawn. Companies, even entire countries, are out there actively looking for reliable, resilient partners. This creates this massive window of opportunity for India to really step up.
But, okay, how do you actually grab that opportunity? The strategy boils it all down to one single overriding principle that they see as the key to unlocking all of this global success. And there it is. It's a relentless, absolutely non-negotiable focus on quality. The goal here isn't just to meet global standards. The real ambition is to set them, to become a new benchmark for what excellence looks like.
And this big push for quality is going to be laser-focused on some very specific high-value areas. We're talking about next-gen biotech with the biopharma mission, which is all about making India a leader in new medicines and medical devices. Plus, there's a huge push for self-sufficiency in things like container manufacturing, securing those vital rare earth minerals, and seriously boosting investment in advanced R&D.
Of course, you can't really produce for the whole world if you can't move stuff efficiently within your own country. And that brings us to the next pillar: connecting the nation to empower businesses of every single size. And this slide really shows a fundamental shift in thinking. For years, infrastructure was built mainly for internal needs, for growth within India. Now it's being designed from the ground up with a totally new purpose: to connect India seamlessly with global markets. And just to give you an idea of the scale of this investment, check this out. The plan for 7 new high-speed rail corridors is a perfect example. They're building the growth connectors that are needed to link production hubs with ports and airports without a hitch. So all this concrete and steel, it has a very clear business objective. It's all about driving down logistics costs, making supply chains way more efficient, and creating this really robust multimodal network where goods can just move seamlessly between rail, road, and waterways. And all this new connectivity is absolutely vital for the backbone of the economy, the small and medium-sized businesses. The plan is basically a 4-step journey to help them level up. Give them easier access to credit and new tech, remove the fear that they'll lose benefits if they grow bigger, and ultimately get them ready to compete on a global scale.
So where is all this growth going to happen? Well, the strategy is to look beyond just the mega cities. The government is really betting on these well-planned Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities to become the next wave of economic engines, spreading that development much more evenly across the country.
Okay, let's get to our final section. This is really about the foundational principles that are holding this entire blueprint together, and it boils down to 2 things: sustainability and a sense of shared responsibility. There's a real recognition here of a major shift in global markets. Today, international buyers, they're not just looking for the cheapest price tag anymore. They're increasingly demanding products that are made sustainably. Clean technology isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a competitive necessity. A key part of this green push involves technologies like CCUS. Let me just break that down simply. It's basically about trapping carbon emissions from big industrial sites before they hit the atmosphere,
and then either storing them safely underground or recycling them into new products.
But, at the end of the day, this whole blueprint isn't just some top-down government plan. The message is pretty clear. This massive goal of a developed India can only happen if there's a sense of collective ownership from everyone. So who are they talking about when they say collective? Well, it's all the key players you see here. It needs industry to invest, banks to provide the capital, state governments to actually execute these plans on the ground, and, of course, innovators to keep pushing the boundaries. Every single piece is essential to completing the puzzle. And that leaves us with one final, big thought. The framework has been laid out, and the vision is clear. So the real question now is, if all these different groups actually succeed in working together, how might this massive collective effort truly reshape the global economic map?